Okay. Baik. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Ya, yang saya hormati Datin Paduka dan juga hadirin ya yang hadir pada hari ini ya. Jadi saya ucapkan selamat datang ya mula-mula sekali. So welcome to this forum this morning entitled Malaysia-China Synergies in Book Publishing. Yeah. Again, it is my honor to welcome all of you to this very important forum. And we have two prominent speakers. Yeah. So first of all, I think I would like to read the biography first. Yeah. And before we proceed to our discussion of the topic. Yeah? So on my left is Dato' Ahmad Reza Ahmad Khairuddin. He is the former EB president, EB International. And of course, he is a well-established authority in book publishing in Malaysia. And his leadership and policy level insights continue to shape literacy, advocacy, and of course, publishing not only in Malaysia, but also in the region as well as internationally. Yeah? Apart from MBBY president, and Dato' Reza is also the chairman of EB Foundation. Okay, on my left, right, is of course Mr. Zhang Mingzhao, and he is also the former president of EB International and currently serves on the executive committee of EB International. He is a global advocate of children's literature, a champion of reading promotion, and the founder of Life 3 Culture Promotion Center. His experience spans publishing, translation, international diplomacy, and literacy promotion across more than 80 countries. That's the number of EB member countries. Yeah? So now, well, our discussion will of course revolve around three key points. One, what are the current trade opportunities and market access for children's book in Malaysia and in China? And the second question is, how can we better nurture talent, authors, illustrators, translators, and support across cross-border development? And the third one is, what are the potential synergies between the two countries? And how can collaboration expand market reach and generate long-term commercial value? Okay, we will now begin with a brief keynote reflection, since both of you are well-traveled and has a lot of experience internationally. So maybe you can give a global snapshot, okay, on the children's book publishing landscape in the world, and then probably you can zoom in into the country in China. So maybe you can begin, Mr. Zhang.
Hi. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Terima kasih. Thank you for your introduction. I'm honored to sit here for this panel discussion. Since you may have known that the two panelists are both former presidents of IBBY. Actually, in IBBY, we had all together 3 presidents from Asia. The other one is Miss Tayoshima from Japan. Unfortunately, she passed away. So we are the only 2 living former presidents from Asia. Please applaud. Thank you. Actually, I learned a lot from Reza Karuddin, my predecessor's predecessor, who encouraged me to be brave enough to take action as president of the renowned international organization on children's books. He encouraged me, and he was the first person who recommended me to prepare for the presidency in future, 13 years ago in London. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much for encouragement. From the perspective of international arena, children's books, we have to talk about this, the importance of children's books. Why children's books, especially literature, children's literature, are so important. If considering from the impact or the value of children's literature, since children's literature is focusing on children, from the perspective of children, and the readers are children. Children, when they are young enough, when they have to start their literature reading life, children's literature are the first form of literature for their whole life. So that means this literature's influence will accompany them for the rest of their life. At least 60 years, 70 years, even 80 years. So from this perspective, I have to say that children's literature is the most important literature in life and in all forms of literature. But unfortunately, people don't think that way usually. They think children's book, oh, for children, they are naive, they are very simple, they don't need complicated, deep things. Yeah, it's very easy just to draw some sketch and then it's okay, you can see that. No, definitely not. We know this because of EB, International Board on Books for Young People, now have over 85 national sections across the world. EB is more than 70 years old. This is a truly internationalized organization with the most famous award is called Hans Christian Andersen Award, the highest recognition of international children's literature. And from over 20 years of working experience in this international organization, which is composed of children's literature writers, illustrators, editors, translators, designers, booksellers, librarians, scholars, journalists, whoever are interested in promotion of quality children's books. Not only children's books, but quality children's books, which means the children's books must be of high literary standard, artistic standard, from children's perspective, can inspire children's curiosity and creation, both interesting and meaningful. So in this respect, we know that we must work very hard and very professionally together. Because EB is a network of people who bring children and books together from different fields, as I said earlier. The power of EB comes from the connection, of professional people, of expertise, That when we are together, each and everyone got inspired and encouraged. On the other hand, for children's books, in the most developed countries in terms of children's books, like the United States or Britain, the Great Britain, the children's books accounts for about 35 to 40% of the whole book market. In China, accounts for about 30% now. It is increasing. So it is very important that we gather together. At this Selangor Children's Book Fair, for me, the first time, I'm impressed by the library, the beautiful, advanced, and user-friendly atmosphere in the library. I just visited this morning, and I was inspired as well. I saw so many details. I don't want to waste your time, since you all know that clearly, but I definitely want to promote this library worldwide. It should be highly respected, to be known, and to be connected, and to work together with this library and with this Selangor Children's Book Fair, or maybe I heard next year maybe we can turn it into International Children's Book Fair, and I will try my very best to work in this respect. And for China-Malaysia cooperation, in terms of market opportunities, China is the world's now second biggest population after India. India runs very fast. They are the biggest. And now China's population, especially thinking of children's population, is shrinking. After over 40 years of one-child policy, China is entered into an aging society. Young people, many of them don't want to give birth. So many kindergartens are closed. Many primary schools is also merging with each other. So this reality is beyond people's anticipation, but it happens. So they also influence the market of children's books. On the other hand, also very fierce competition from social media and from digital reading and from fierce competition among publishers and also some piracy. You see, the children's book market in China is facing very challenging situation, but we are surviving. Yeah, this negative trend does not stop us from working harder and to be more and more professional. Yeah, and pay more attention to quality. If only quality content can attract readers, can encourage parents and librarians to buy books. And this is also a good chance for Chinese publishers, writers, illustrators, because several years ago, for almost 20 years, I witnessed the fast growth. Every year growth, about over 10% growth every year, continuously, more than 20 years. Now it is going down, but the number of publication is still very high. And the need for quality books are still very high. And some good quality books and publishers, they are still profitable. So the problem is not the amount or the quantity of publications, but it lies in quality. The quality books come from very high quality writers, illustrators, designers, editors. And after 20 years of fast growth, Chinese children's books quality has been improved very fast. If I can cite you an example that if about 10 years ago, I have been working in this circle for more than 20 years. And I was invited into the jury for selecting Chinese original books. If 10 years ago, I don't mention 20 years ago. That would be more, more, how to say, miserable. Because 20 years ago, when Harry Potter came into Chinese market, you see, the local authors, local publishers, so who could not have a chance to publish Harry Potter, they just saw the number going up, fly up, the number of books of Harry Potter, but the local books, people don't care about it because people think, no, we are not good enough. No, our stories are more didactic. See, always try to teach children this or that, moral, value, tradition, just to teach them, to tell them, you cannot do this, you cannot do this, because otherwise you are not a good boy or not a good girl, things like that. Children don't like it. Yeah, but the book, like Harry Potter, when they were imported into the Chinese market, it changed the understanding of children's books. No more didactic content. So the authors, publishers, local people, they moved, they adapted their writing and the way they design the book and the way they illustrate the books. So importation of quality international books is a must to let the local authors, illustrators to learn from the world's highest children's book. And about, oh my God, this is 14 years ago, when Reza was still the president of IBBY, we invited him to China for a series of books. You must have been remember that. In order to encourage the local authors, illustrators, and publishers, editors, to learn what is the highest quality literature, what is the highest quality picture books. So we focus on Hans Christian Andersen Award series. So I was the organizer of the whole series of books. We translated over 100 titles. Hans Christian Andersen Award winners' works. Some novels, some picture books, and also introduction, documentary books about IBBY, and about Hans Christian Andersen Awards, and about the autobiography of the founder, Jelle Lavman. Yeah, the inspiring story of a lady who established IBBY, Hans Christian Andersen Awards, and the International Youth Library. And with the publishing and introduction and promotion of these books, Chinese authors, illustrators, editors, publishers, they learn so much immediately. What is the highest quality? Because Hans Christian Andersen Award books are different from Harry Potter type of books. It focuses more on quality, content, literature, and art, etc. It's not necessarily best-selling books, but really increase or enhance the taste of young readers for their whole life. More nutrient, these books. And so with the introduction of these books, the Chinese authors, they learned how to write a better story and how to connect with their own culture, with their own surroundings. Because China is a very big country, diversified in terms of population, in terms of people, nationalities. We have 56 different nationalities across the country, and people live in different areas, have very different cultures. In a sense, China is a kind of world, full of diversity. Some live in mountains, plateaus, some in deserts, in grassland, on island, coastal areas, small counties, or in villages, or the herds, like inner Mongolian people, very, very different. So, how to connect with their own cultures? So that inspired the local Chinese authors to pay more attention to their own life. Yeah, not only imagination, not only fiction books, but also non-fiction books. And these books deeply connect with their own lifestyle, their own culture, cultural relevance. The cultural relevance attract Chinese readers to read those books because those stories are connected to their daily life, related to their reality. So in this way, Chinese readers buy all the parents, they buy more books created by the local Chinese authors and published by them. So this is the way how Chinese books are, the quality are increasing. And also, we organize many Chinese writers, illustrators to participate in international awards, like Hans Christian Andersen Awards or BIB, Bratislava. You know, Hans Christian Andersen Awards is one author, one illustrator, twice a year. Yeah, and also we have BIB. BIB Awards is kind of it's the world's first and the largest non-commercial competition for children's illustration. It was founded in 1967 by the Ministry of Culture of Slovak Republic, then the Czechoslovak Republic, and the city government of Bratislava, the capital city of Slovakia, and also the UNESCO. So, and these awards, every 2 years, 11 winners, 1 Grand Prix, 5 golden apples, 5 plaques. So every year 11, there are chances that we can get award, but a very fierce competition. The first Chinese illustrator won the award in 1993. And then after 10 years, no one participated. I was the person to reconnect the BIB with China because of IBBY. So IBBY is very important because IBBY joined in the creation of BIB. The founder of IBBY, Yalalaman, was one of the persons who helped to create BIB. So many jury members of BIB came from IBBY. IBBY Executive Committee or IBBY Jury President for Hans Christian Andersen. And so we are closely related. So I reconnect China with BIB in the year 2005. And after 18 years, yes, 18 years, every year China nominates our illustrators, but we got nothing. No award at all, but we continue to do that. We organize exhibitions of BIB in China, across the country, so that the local illustrators can have a chance to see, to appreciate how the award winners' works are, why they got the award, why it is important to have a quality, artistic quality. What are the differences between a painting and an illustration? Because illustration is not only for one topic, it is a narration, image narration. Yeah, it's visual art and visual narration. So this is something different. So when the Chinese illustrators learn about this, of course they also read many other books that they imported from other countries. And there are also many Chinese young artists who studied abroad, yeah, directly from the universities. And all these people come together, and then from 2013, there was another Chinese who won the award. So after 20 years. And then from that year on, almost every time there was a Chinese who won the award. It makes huge difference and build up confidence. So when the awards was announced inside China, the Chinese readers and the parents, librarians, teachers, they got more confident about their local, original books. And that encouraged the sales of the local books. And they found that the Chinese books are really very nice. Yeah. And I have participated in also other jury members, like some other organized participation of Chinese authors or illustrators participate in Bologna Children's Book Fair or NAMI concourse. Nami Island from Korea. Yes, the sponsor, still the sponsor for Hans Christian Andersen Awards. Their awards, and also image, book image from Russia. So, hi, welcome. And so we organized Chinese illustrators to join in international competition. More and more Chinese got the award. And people are more active. The more active, the more professional they will become. The more the books are sold, the more new artists would join in this army. So that is how China's children's book quality are improved, especially in the year 2016, yes. Yeah. Chinese author Cao Wenxuan won the Hans Christian Andersen Awards. This is a breaking news for all Chinese. So he immediately became a superstar. Everybody almost knows this, even though they don't care about children's books. They heard of this name because on media everywhere, television, website, newspaper, interviews one time after another, everywhere. Even the Prime Minister received him because he got the Hans Christian Andersen Award. And his works and his story was promoted also in other medias in many different languages, even only in English language, according to a rough statistics, over 2,000 pages about him and his picture and his works in English media only. And over 240 titles were published in over 40 different languages around the world. See, all this, without the jury, without the winning of the award, you cannot accept it. You cannot think about it. And several of his works adapted into films. And the films got award also. And his home city even invest a big money to build his old house and the old school where he received his primary school education. They turned it into a huge theme park. Very beautiful, and kept everything when he was young. It's called Thatched House. The Thatched House. Many of his works narrate or written about his own childhood. And the whole settings were kept well and built into modern buildings. Also, beside, its conference room, a literature, lecture hall, a theater, hotels, etc. So 1 month ago, I was there. I invited 3 Hans Christian Andersen Award winners and the sponsors too. And sponsors, one from Korea, one from Poland, one from Brazil. We had a wonderful experience there for drawing together lectures, workshops, meeting with readers. And the local government, it's very fun. See, the local government, some of them support, some others think children's books are so important. Why do we do this? We don't have time. But when they finally came, they were addicted. They became amazed. Every day they sit there. I see the leaders. Every day they sit because there was a huge, well-organized exhibition of Hans Christian Andersen Award winners. So this encouragement will give new way for all other Chinese children's writers, illustrators to work harder. And this is a very good chance that when we and Malaysian colleagues, if we can work together. And China, they know about Malaysia, maybe durian are more important. But durian is so delicious. And China and Malaysia are very good neighbors, strategic partnerships. So very, very close friends. bilateral ties, I mean diplomatically or politically. But unfortunately, in terms of children's literature, we have not done enough. And I think this is a time that we talk together and find new ways to work professionally, to link more deeply, and to produce new books together, buy and sell copyrights, and do culture events, things like that. And I'm looking forward very much. And thank you very much for inviting me. And thank you very much for having your time here. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Zhang. Thank you. Thank you for very inspiring and very informative. China is huge, so you have a lot to say about China's publishing landscape, right?
Thank you.
But Malaysia is not so huge, okay? But both countries have very rich stories, agree with that? And diverse cultures and growing economic, creative economy, right? So can you share with us about the landscape? You know, reflection about your experience, your travel around the world, and then you zoom in into Malaysian context. Yeah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat tengah hari. Ladies and gentlemen, my respected friend Ming Zhao from China, EB, of course, Presiden, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. For Malaysia, of course, I'm a proud Malaysian, and I think Malaysia is a beautiful country, the best. We are colorful, we are multiracial, we are multicultural, we have good people. We have the most distinct feature is that we live in harmony and peaceful despite having different religions, culture, and perspectives. The world thinks that we are a very good country. Everyone asks, what do our children read? That they are able to connect and live in harmony with each other. And when I look at it, what we have plenty of good books, good stories, but at the same time, we also read a lot of books about other countries. We import a significant number of books from other countries. This is not necessarily wrong, but perhaps history has a big role in it. We were a British colony, we had the Japanese here, and therefore we always think that if you have something that has made in Great Britain, it always seems better. So we love British shortbread, we love Marks and Spencer's, you know, and things like that. But perhaps we overlook the fact that even Marks and Spencer's produce their things in China now. So we're not too far away. So I think we like China as well. They have gone away from the made in Great Britain, they're made in China, in Sri Lanka, Indonesia, and perhaps in Puchong. You know, we have that. But anyway, back to literature, the most beautiful part about our country is that our children are ever ready to absorb, to read. But is our reading habit at the peak or at its best? In my personal opinion, we have not fully maximized the potential of reading, the inherent strengths of having a good reading habit, simply because technology has overtaken a lot of minds. The generation of today seem to think that their life, their brother is an iPad, handphone, and so on. They forgot about books, whereas everything starts from good literature, from a book. Whatever that is in the gadget originally came from a story, from literature, from something that someone spent a lot of time and effort to read. And that's very important. In my experience in EB, in IBBY, of course, I think I started with MBBY much earlier. I was enticed into joining MBBY, I think way back in 2004. And then came 2006, I was also enticed into IBBY. where I first met Ming Zhao in Macau, EB Congress, when I became a member of the committee in 2006. And ever since then, I've been involved in IBBY, all the way as committee member, vice president, and left and came back, and now I'm the chairman of EB Trust. In my experience all these years, looking at the EB national sections, the members, in most countries, they focus on reading. You start off with reading. Children must read. In order for children to read, adults, parents, caregivers, teachers, friends, and the whole surrounding atmosphere must have a good reading habit. What does reading means? Well, when you go to school, you study. The curriculum of the school dictates that you must pass your exams, and therefore you study. But while studying, many people forget that they are reading, because their objective is to pass the exams. But a good read means you read to understand, you read to imagine, you read to enjoy. So a good reading habit means you must love what you're reading. You put yourself into what you are reading. You see yourself in the material that you are reading. In order to have that, you must have good books. You must have good writers, good illustrators, good editors, and of course, good book designers, and lastly, good printers. A high quality book, as what Ming Zhao has been saying, requires a lot of extensive work. It's not just something that you buy because it's cheap. We buy imported books today because they are cheaper. Something that we see that is priced at £9.99, that is imported, but it's sold at RM9.99, cheap sale, at various shops and book fairs. And we think it's cheap, it's good. But these imported stories carry themes and carry stories that come from other countries. Countries that may not have a lot of similarities with us. I always use this analogy. When you ask a child to read a storybook about winter, it depicts a snowman, snow sledge, snow, and life in a snow environment. Yes, it is exciting to see something out there that is different. I call it opening the window and seeing the world out there. But at the same time, the mirror onto yourself, you ask the question, does the child appreciate and understand the beauty or the joy of living in a country with snow? They may not. The bulk of our children living in Shah Alam, living in Kampung Baru, Sabak Bernam, Ranau, Tawau, and so on, cannot appreciate what snow is all about. Why do they have to wear thick clothes when our kids sometimes run around without a shirt on? Ask Datuk Lat. Epit may not even have pants. But that was life. And we can relate to that. But when you ask a child to understand, oh, how fun is it to have a snowball fight in winter? I want to say this, maybe it's my own opinion, I'm not sure about you. 90% of our children cannot relate to that. Are we fair asking them to relate to a book that does not relate to them? No. What is important is our books, our stories. And in order for our stories to go out there, we need people to write, we need illustrators to illustrate. When you illustrate about what you have in your own country. You do not illustrate a chicken, ayam kampung I call it, but the background hill is the scene of Switzerland. It does not relate. It has to be real. The child must be able to relate to it. The problem is, since adults do not read as much as we like them to do, adults are not able to point out to the child that what they're reading need to be related to their life. So my word out there to everyone, seruan saya kepada abang, kakak, adik, pakcik, makcik, kawan-kawan, is that orang dewasa pun bacalah buku kanak-kanak. Sebab buku kanak-kanak tu menggembirakan. Buku kanak-kanak tu membawa diri kita balik ke alam kita kanak-kanak. mungkin menghilangkan stres, mungkin lebih mengingatkan kita pada kampung, pada hari-hari macam Datuk Lat lukis, hari yang tak pakai baju berlari-lari dalam kampung, kena kejar dengan mak sebab dah azan maghrib belum balik. Balik bukan dapat puji, rotan dulu. Ya, makan duduk akan lantai sebab tak boleh campur dengan orang tua, miss semayang. Kan? Itu kehidupan kita. We have to be realistic, and this is what we want to show. Now, when I compare to China, for example, not only China, in EB, we have 85 member countries. 85 negara menjadi ahli IBBY. Apabila kita melihat sastra kanak-kanak di sana, dia sangat realistik. Dia menceritakan diri dia. Di China, dia tak ada minta maaf. Dia kata, ini cerita saya, suka tak suka, bacalah. Ini kami China. Sama dengan Indonesia, sama dengan England, sama dengan France. Dia tak kira. Tapi kalau dia nak bertemakan inklusif, dia boleh masukkan elemen-elemen. Dalam bandar di France ni, ada ramai penduduk beragama Islam. Dimasukkan. Tapi tema asasnya tetap, kami Perancis. Adakah kita berada dalam situasi macam tu di sini? Kita lebih banyak buku bahasa Inggeris. Kita lebih banyak bawa fantasi. Realitinya kurang. Jadi apakah yang anak-anak kita membaca? Dia baca bahan-bahan yang membawa rangsangan luar. Tetapi dia lupa, kalau dia datang kompleks PKNS tu, hujung sana ada KFC. Yang dia tahu KFC, dia bayangkan muka Colonel Sanders daripada Kentucky. Dia lupa yang ayam tu ayam kampung yang ada kat rumah kat kampung tu. Dia tak nampak ayam tu sebab dia nampak KFC. I was just explaining to him the analogy of where the chicken comes from. I think you can understand.
I understand that, and I feel very, very funny. I usually listen to his English, but this time he completely changed into another person and into another atmosphere. I love it, however.
No, in EB we used to exchanging languages. I want to make a point known to them. But it's about the chicken, I'm saying. At the end of the complex here, we have Kentucky Fried Chicken. Everyone loves it, you know. So the vivid image that they have is about Colonel Sanders from Kentucky. But they forgot that the chicken is the local chicken that comes from the village, you know. And they probably draw the chicken that looks like an American chicken, if there's one. An American chicken is white. Our chicken is colorful. So the relation to it, there's a visual art expert down there, you know. She would know what kind of chicken that I'm talking about. You know, so this is about what we want to do. So in order to bring this realization, one, about reading, two, about understanding who we are and what are our stories about, and what value does it bring in us, we have to raise the standards. This is what we're hoping. When we bring Mr. Ming Zhao all the way from China, he's an expert. He's a reading advocate, he's a publisher, he's also a literary agent, he's been all over the world. Of course, he was EB president after me, but I think he's seen more countries in the world than me. You know, he was jury president in many places. So we always have exchange of ideas and experiences, yes. So I think China is probably the nearest and the most adaptable country for Malaysia. We can learn from China because of what they have achieved, which is not something that was overnight achieved. You know, Ming Zhao was right, 20 years ago, it was different. But in the last 10 years, they grew like a Formula One racing car. So did Korea. So did Japan. And we are now in the race. And we have to match them. We learn from them. What is quality? If China has produced Hans Christian Andersen Award winners, E.B. Reid Award winners, Nami Conquers winners, we have the opportunity now, because of the IBBY network, MBBY and CBBY, Mr. Ming Zhao Zhang and Dr. Sidin and myself and all MBBY members, we have that single most important available opportunity now to exchange at no cost now. Because Ming Zhao is saying he's not charging anything for saying whatever he has said. Now to pick from his brain and take the best practice. So there are examples and it's available through the various network or the extensive network that EB has, Malaysia EB has. MBBY has very good working relations with IBBY headquarters, has very good working relations with our EB friends, China, Indonesia, Thailand, and so on. Resources are available. At the moment, MBBY is hosting the EB special collection of books for children with disabilities. It's available in the Selangor Library, which is on loan to us, which is available until the end of this month. And then we have to send it back, this time to US. We also have the IBBY collection of honor list books, books that have been selected as the best books from various countries, all member countries, 80 countries. MBBY has bought this collection over the last 8 years. We probably have 4 or 5 collections dating back to 10 years. And it's available for members to view and to understand, to understudy what it's all about. Why does this book is named as the best book in illustration? Why is this book named as the best book for authoring? Why is this book named as the best book as a translated work from another country? These are available. Illustrations, we have Nami Conquers, one of the most respected illustration contests. As Mr. Ming Zhao said, Bratislava Biennale, BIP, we call it. He was the chief jury at one time, all the way from Europe, but that's also specifically dedicated to illustrations. That's available, whether online or directly. We have Hans Christian Andersen Award winners, both in illustration and authoring. The sponsor is Nami Island Incorporated, our very, very, very close friend, where we have access at any time, any time that we want to go, or they can bring it here. We have this digital collection available through MBBY. You can see the winners' works, the jury process, and everything. We have EB iRead Reading Promoter Award. I had the honor of being the first jury president many years ago, and the winner was from China as well. A man who did extensive work, memorable work, dedicated his life to reading promotion in the depths of the jungle and the villages of China. Almost unmatched at what he did. And the impact is that, yes, the children of the inner land, or hinterland you call it, they became avid readers. Then we have EB Asahi Reading Promotion Award, efforts done by countries to encourage reading. For example, in Latin America, a bunch of grandmothers sat down, got together to open a reading room in the center of the city of Colombia in order to prevent children from loitering in the city and being influenced by drug addicts or being kidnapped. They don't want children to be loitering because children were the prey of these drug cartels. So they have this reading room where children are encouraged to come and read. And the impact is that over the years, some children actually went on to universities, graduated, and came back to give back and to facilitate reading. That's commendable. But the fact is that it was started by a group of grandmothers. We don't need yang sado-sado, yang badan besar-besar ni. But grandmothers can also make an impact. So grandmothers, please raise your hand. Okay, I'm a grandfather. Yeah. Okay, so this is what we want to do. Yeah. So from my perspective, potential is big, relationship and the world is there, and I hope we'll have a more mutually benefiting relationship with China. Thank you.
They are both former presidents, so they cannot stop talking. I thought this is only the first round. Yeah? But the
sorry.
time is already 1 o'clock.
I
and
talk
I've got
too much.
lots of questions to ask actually, but never mind. I think this is my last round, okay? Okay, since there are so many questions I have here, so can you just, probably summarize or just whatever you want to say about things that could appeal to publishers and readers in China? And how could Malaysian publishers penetrate into the Chinese market?
Yeah.
So,
This is a big question because usually the Chinese market, the publishers, their attention before mainly or on the America, UK, or some European countries, Japan, and even Korea. For books from other countries, they come to realize that it is also very important, but I don't think they have enough channel. So exposure of Malaysian children's books, exposure of Malaysian children's writers, illustrators, it's very important. So in China, there are two most important book fairs for children. One is in Shanghai, Professional Children's Book Fair, every November, and another one in the BIBF, Beijing International Book Fair. I am advisor to both, excuse me, the both book fairs, and there are good opportunities that you will meet with the Chinese colleagues face to face, page by page. You read it, you see it, and you can introduce your own books. Also, you can have panel discussions to let them know more about your thinking. The theory and the practices both works together. And also, I think the opportunity to work together, for example, Chinese writers and Malaysian illustrators, or vice versa, and we can find twin, excuse me, yeah. Thank you. This is a very good way to penetrate, as you requested, into the Chinese market. Because if you buy copyrights, it's a bit complicated. But if you work together, this is their own books, maybe first published in China, and the Chinese publishers are encouraged by the authorities to create original books. And if we work together, the book will be regarded as the original book. And they are also very interested to promote this original book, co-created by Malaysian and Chinese authors and illustrators, not only promote in China market, but also promote it into other, enter into other markets. So this is my answer for the time being. And also another way, maybe we can also think, oh, this is answer to another question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I echo what Ming Jiao has said. The opportunity for close collaboration, I think an exciting opportunity is when there's collaboration between author illustrator. We've seen that happening in several other countries, and there's an opportunity between Ming Jiao and myself. We are working on a list of manuscripts that's available on both sides, and see if we can encourage illustrators and authors to join. We have to have a proof of concept somewhere, something that works. Of course, in negotiation of rights between China and Malaysia, the reality of the market size is like this. In Malaysia, for children books, if we are able to sell 1,000 copies or sign translation rights for 1,000 copies, we deem ourselves successful. But the market in China is 300 million children, right? So the opportunity for us to tap is huge, but we have to bear in mind the quality and the desired benchmarks that the China market has. And that is actually work in progress for Malaysia. So we can work together so that we have an opportunity to learn from each other. That's something. And of course, as I know from the China side, from our friends, they are more than willing to work together with Malaysian publishers or authors and illustrators. There is no situation where they think that we are not up to it, but it's a question of finding the middle path and agreeing on the terms. That's all I can say.
I agree with you. For the Chinese publishers, they are very interested in Malaysia publishers, writers, illustrators. The only obstacle is how we meet more often, not only through internet, people-to-people connections, face-to-face communications. It's irreplaceable, especially in terms of our children's book publishing.
Okay. Can we open to questions? I think I would like to open for 1 or 2 short questions from the floor. Yes, please.
Okay. Hello, hi, Min Jau, Dato' Ahmad Reza and President. My name is Latifah. I'm from UNICEF and also MBBY. Together with me, 3 students from Chengdu, China, especially to meet Min Jau. Okay, so my question to Min Jau, based on your experience, how do illustrators in China develop the concept and storylines that resonate with children, and what insight can be shared to enhance cross-cultural storytelling between China and Malaysia? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I remember that we met last time in Putrajaya. Very nice to see you again, and welcome my fellow country people from Chengdu, China. Just welcome. Yeah. 欢迎你们啊. Yeah. For Chinese illustrators, many of them, they have to rely, they cannot simply rely on their illustration works. They cannot make a living for this, if only. In many cases, only some very successful illustrators, they can only do illustrations, but majority, they have to do some extra work, to do some other jobs. This is the reality. This is a fatal reality. But some of them can come out. For the understanding, but most of them, not most of them, I think every one of them who have been doing this for many years, they must be very passionate. They love children, they love children's books, they love illustrations, they love reading, all of these things. They simply love to do this. But only love is far from enough from creating a quality children's books. Because for illustrations, this is not only challenging your techniques, it is also challenging your narration capabilities, visual narration or image narration. For example, 5, for evaluation by the juries for contests of illustrations, usually you will be requested to supply about 5 pages, yeah, to see how you narrate with visual art. For this, many illustrations, they need training. They need to learn from existing quality children's books, and they need workshops, yeah, by masters, either local masters or masters from other countries. So in China, there are some kind of illustration workshops, like the 东方娃娃, Oriental magazine for preschool children. They are very successful. They have a periodical, monthly, on picture books. So the chief editor and the editors and the advisor, they are very professional. the advisor, Mr. Zhou Xiang, is one of the 3 toppest illustrators in China. And the chief editor is the most famous writer, author for picture books. And she is the one who wrote the picture book For a Hope More Powerful Than the Sea, about the refugee girl who saved 2 babies on the Mediterranean Sea after shipwreck. You see, she is the person. So these kind of people, these kind of professionals, they give lectures, they give opportunities for workshop. So I think this is very important. And also psychologists have to be invited as well. If you don't read psychological books about development psychology or children's psychology of different age groups, you cannot see from the children's perspective, unless you are a genius. Yeah, you were born to be a children's book writer, but that's not enough. Anyway, our childhood still inside, but anyway far away from us. We need to have science or psychological science. So this is to briefly introduce to you. Yeah, I hope I can answer some of your questions. If you are satisfied or not. Yeah. Thank you.
May I?
Yes, one more.
Good afternoon. Selamat tinggi hari. Assalamualaikum. My name is Dr. Kate, and I am so thrilled. I'm so thrilled by what I've just witnessed, a beautiful discussion. Actually, I come from the country of snowballs, and my son is half Malaysian, half Russian, so he can totally relate to the snowball dilemma. At the same time, I do TikToks about Malaysia, so my job is nation branding. And yesterday, I had a luxury and a privilege of accompanying 30 students, children from China, from Beijing, China, on a river cruise in Churating, Pahang. And they were thrilled by the animals, the monkeys, the snakes, the mud crabs. And you know, their imagination sparked. I realized that they will become the true soft power ambassadors for Malaysia for their whole life, because I saw them falling in love with Malaysia. So, Dato' Ahmad, my question is to you, because I believe that children literature, and by the way, I grew up reading Hans Christian Andersen and seeing their illustrations. That's what we read in Russia. So I loved these fairy tales. I believe that there is a huge potential in collaboration with the tourism ministry, because books are a soft power. And by promoting Malaysia through children books and telling them the stories they would love to learn about Malaysia, we could really get the ambassadors among 300 million Malaysian children. So what is the potential in the collaboration with the Ministry of Tourism perhaps? And can we do something in that field? Thank you. Terima kasih.
Thank you. A very good question, actually. I'm so excited to hear that you were able to interact with children and you saw yourself, how children react. And that's where I emphasize my concept of when a child reads a book, it opens a window to the world. It is also putting mirror onto themselves. So they can look at themselves, it's something new, and how they're going to enjoy it and so on. Yes, I fully agree that there are various agencies and ministries in Malaysia who can play a more significant role in the promoting of Malaysian literature abroad. But I must say that this is still work in progress. As the name implies, Ministry of Tourism, tourism is being defined generally as just getting visitors into the country and showing them KLCC, Twin Towers, food, culture, and so on. But the culture in terms of books and stories, that is only slowly taking shape. We have initiatives by Putrajaya, for example, to have a children picture book on various scenes in Putrajaya that was launched a couple of years ago before we had the EB Congress. It was fairly successful, but it's not as what I expected or hoped to be. We have City Hall, Kuala Lumpur, when they celebrated the 25th anniversary, they also had a picture book on on various tourist attractions in Kuala Lumpur, where it depicted children having fun and enjoying visiting Kuala Lumpur. We have not been able to measure the success of that because it became like an internal publication of Dewan Bandaraya. Of course, MBBY was involved. Yes, we have tried to engage with the Tourism Ministry on this aspect. We're hoping to have Malaysian children books placed in tourism offices throughout the world. That is one. And through the Tourism Ministry as well, we are hoping that public libraries, national libraries, state libraries, will also have books and will make it known to tourists that we have books for children that they can come and enjoy a read and even purchase. So that's efforts being put in, but they're still work in progress. But I do agree with you, the Tourism Ministry has a very big role to play in supporting the promotion of Malaysian children books and generally Malaysian literature. Well, hopefully we'll get there. Thank you.
Is there a last question that I can ask or seek opinion? Inshallah. Assalamualaikum, I'm Dr. Farida from Malaysia. We met in Beijing, yeah, alhamdulillah. And to me, I've been writing children's storybook for, I think, the past decade. And one thing about children's stories, I think we should also couple it with teachers' training, maybe. Like our booth is just there in front of the kedai mas. So siapa nak beli mas, datang kami punya booth juga, just in front there. So we have this story about Princess Soleha and her adventures, and we coupled it with a module of Islamic leadership in children. Okay, leadership in children. And then we have also Kami Anak Bertua, which we couple it with our training on Tauhid. So what we have done, because we have about 540 kindergartens all over Malaysia, so we have about 32,000 students. So just giving them a storybook doesn't work. So we train our teachers how to read aloud, how to do storytelling, how to do activities with those books, and then we also couple it with modules. So we also have, actually we're selling Raymond's books for pop-up Shirah books, and we have, we successfully sell 60 books in 10 minutes. You know why? Because there was a training.
Congratulations.
There was a training. So with that training, we took the book and we said, use these books for the kids. So immediately in 10 minutes, people buy it. If we just sell the books like that, somehow or other it doesn't work. So I would really suggest if people would like to tell books, make it into series and then turn it into modules and then trainings. That would be lovely for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and congratulations first. And I'm very talkative. I'm sorry.
That actually doesn't need any response, but never mind. You can respond, no problem. Go ahead.
Okay. So, oh yes, I'll catch up anyway. It's very much important for training of teachers how to read books. This is also one experience that maybe we can refer to from China side. The booming industry of children's book, in children's literature in China cannot be happening without reading promotion, without the teacher training for reading. But there are a kind of systematic training of teachers with reading of extra curriculum books. Yes, so this is one of the successes. because Reza, you work as the jury president for EBI Read Foundation, EBI Read Outstanding Reading Promoter Award, the Chinese winner, Mr. Zhu Yongxin, yeah, who happens to be an author, educator, and he's also a very high-ranking Chinese government official in the central government. He himself never knew that he will be promoted to such a high level. He's one of the state leaders in China now. He's a teacher. He loves teaching, loves children's books. He writes also picture books. He's a magic, you see. His program is called New Education Initiative. It trained over 8 million Chinese teachers across the country, primary school teachers mainly, because the junior middle school teachers, they are too busy for examinations. But primary school teachers or kindergarten teachers, they were well trained by volunteers, by professional volunteers. If we have time, we can do that. And I hope that maybe next year for the International Publishing Forum by IPA, Mabopa, yes, and you are the organizers, if we can invite him to be present here, it would be fantastic. And he wrote a new book, it's called Future Schools, but the learning center for schools, not traditional ones, but the trend. And the book will be published next year by a Malaysian publishing house, because Sunway University. Sunway, yeah, the Sunway University Press. They have agreed to publish this book, and we hope that to bring him here. And if you have the interest, we can organize training program. And they also invite overseas teachers or headmasters of schools who are interested to go to China to receive training, because he had the foundation. The money came from his awards. He won the world's biggest educational award. It's called Yidan Educational Award. The award, the money is 30 million Hong Kong dollars. He donates all this money to the foundation, and the foundation is used for training of teachers for reading. Yeah, thank you. And I'm also very interested in your questions. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have time.
Okay, we have to end here. So I'm sure some of you may have questions, and I would like to probably inform you that MBBY is organizing meetings and special discussion with Mr. Zhang. So if you are interested to join the meeting, I think you can talk to us so that we can, well, I think everybody is welcome. So this will be conducted not here, but probably in Unicel or in other places. All right? So I will not be fair if I don't ask Dato' Ahmad Reza to say in less than 1 minute to conclude the session.
Less than 1 minute, okay. Well, anyway, I thank everyone for your presence. As I said, children books are very important, but more important is that we read them. Children must be exposed to reading from the early onset. But remember, my main mission is actually to get adults to read as well. Read children books so that you understand your children and you know what to do with children. I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm an avid reader of children books now. I don't read so much of the serious books. Then I understand my grandchildren better. The challenges of today calls on us adults to address the needs of children in reading as much as a very important subset of life. So hopefully, MBBY's efforts, and by having Ming Zhao here, in the next 4 days, we're going to pick his brain and see how much we can extract from him to bring the best practices from China for us to benefit. Thank you.
Okay, so on behalf of the organizer, I would like to thank the speakers. Let's give a big hand to the speakers. And also thank you very much to all of you. If not all of you, this session will not be possible. Thank you very much, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator Sidian. Thank you. Thank you.